more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, we're into the month of October, and leaves haven't really started changing yet, but it's nice weather is ahead of us. And there's a couple nice things we want to talk about. One is what's going on at the East China School District. The superintendent is with us, Suzanne Saibula.
Yep.
My words are going together, but that happens. You've got a very busy month coming up. You've been around the district talking to cities and townships and meetings about a fund that you've got coming up.
Yes, we do. And thank you for giving me just a few minutes to talk about it today. We've been trying, Angie Gleason, who's the Director of Finance for East China School District, and myself have been trying to get to all of the municipalities and our Rotary meetings and Chamber of Commerce's and staff meetings.
You're busy.
We're very busy, but we want everybody to get the information. So I appreciate you letting us do it here so we can reach some more people. The East China School District on the November 5th ballot has a proposal for a sinking fund for the school district.
Okay,
and
let's stop you right there.
Yes.
Confusing word.
I know.
Confusing word. What is a sinking fund?
So, and it's a word that is not just doesn't describe what it does, but it is the legal term.
Okay.
Yes, it is a building and site sinking fund, and that is what will be on the ballot. So we try to use the word so we're not confusing anyone. But what a sinking fund allows school districts in Michigan to pay for, it has allowable expenses, and what it allows us to pay for, and these are new rules. Old sinking fund, East China School District had a sinking fund in the past. That was the only expenses allowable under that sinking fund were repairs and upgrades of building and sites. That was all it could be used for. The rules have changed, and we can now use sinking funds for that, for the repairs and upgrades of sites and buildings. We can also use it for upgrade and purchase of technology.
Oh.
Yes, purchase of buses and repair of buses, and safety and security. So now it encompasses all four of those allowable expenses, and before it was just the one. So if you'll remember in the past, East China School District had a bus bond, and we had a technology bond, and we had a sinking fund. It can all be now paid for, all of those expenses out of a sinking fund.
Those two items are sort of expendables, in one respect, that they get used, and they get the buses get used, the technology get used, and you have to upgrade in both cases there.
Yes.
And you had to take the money out of the general fund before.
Yes, and we want to protect our general fund dollars.
Yeah.
That's when you hear like count day was yesterday. We count all our students. We send that number to Lansing, and they send us money based on the number of students we have. Right now, East China School District gets $9,608 per student. That's our foundation allowance. And so then we have to pay our bills and pay for upgrades or buses or whatever is needed for the district out of those funds. State of Michigan does not have a dedicated fund to pay for building and site upgrades, technology, safety, and security, and those items. A sinking fund would allow us to protect the general fund dollars and allow us to use them in the classroom and pay for these other things out of a sinking fund. So in the state of Michigan, that's the model for running school districts. In St. Clair County, the only two school districts currently without a sinking fund that are operating without one is East China School District and KPAC.
Okay.
So all other school districts in our county use a sinking fund to pay for these items and protect those general fund dollars. Now, we've been trying to share with people as much information as we can because we just passed a really big bond initiative in March of 2020.
Right.
2 days before everything shut down for COVID. And so people will say, well, what did those bond dollars pay for? So on our website, we have
Shelley will throw that up.
We have a brochure, one sheet that helps, there it is, that helps to show people what we use those bond dollars for and what our targeted or prioritized sinking fund projects could be. So I think it's the blue stars signify all of the bond projects or all the projects that were covered with bond dollars. And the orange circles are the ones that we've identified that will need to pay for in a sinking fund. They'd be sinking fund eligible expenses. So when we passed the bond in March of 2020, it was $112.9 million, which is a lot of money.
Yep.
We identified in that bond the needs of the school district, the most important things that needed to get done, and that money was to cover that. We've been able to do all that was hoped for with the bond, but some of the extra things that we had in our bond development couldn't get done because the 2020 dollars are not the same as 2024 dollars.
Right.
So the sinking fund would allow us to upgrade our athletic fields and facilities and do some of the things that we were hoping to do with the bond dollars that they didn't stretch that far. So one example that I like to give is currently the track at the Performing Arts Center in our stadium on Meisner Road there. We can't have competitions on it. It's not in good enough shape.
Wow.
So the quote to repair a track that size was 2 years ago, was $740,000.
Wow.
So these are big expenses, and we don't want to pull them from our general fund dollars. A school district's budget, our budget, is between 85 and 87% salaries and benefits. We're a people industry.
Right.
You know, we take care of people. And so if you need to start cutting a school district's budget to pay for big ticket items, you're looking at people. And we certainly don't want to do that. So in the past, East China School District did have a sinking fund. And in that sinking fund, we have about $2 million left. And then once that's exhausted, that's gone unless we are able to renew this. So we are very protective of that money that's left in there and need it in case something were to go wrong. We have, as you know, you can imagine, the school district's 142 square miles.
Right.
We have 30, buses and multiple buildings that need to be maintained, and if something were to go wrong, we need to protect those dollars in case we need
Well, you
to
had a
pay
big
for it.
repair the other day at the end of the football game.
Yeah.
The main pump around the whole stadium there
Yes.
died, right?
Yes. It was St. Clair's homecoming.
Right.
And the game had just started and the pump failed. And so luckily we have our Performing Arts Center and our new Innovation Center. We could direct people up to use the bathrooms up there. But we did have to call an emergency repairs.
Those aren't that when you call somebody in for a project like that, it's not cheap.
No.
On a Friday night.
No, and you want to know and have the peace of mind that those dollars are there to cover those things, and you don't have to touch your dollars that are meant for your classroom.
The track in the field, how many years old is that? It's 20 years probably?
At least, yes.
Because the Performing Arts Center, was that built at the same time? I don't remember. I don't recall.
They're all about the same. The part that's the newest on at the stadium and our track down there is the football field turf was replaced.
Yeah.
But we're in year 6 of a 10-year life. So within the next 5 years, we really need to be looking at replacing the turf on the football field, and that's a very expensive endeavor as well. And one thing I'd like to share that I hear when I'm out sharing this information about the sinking fund is people will say that East China has DTE in your backyard.
Oh, yeah.
That you should be just, flowing in money. And we're very fortunate to have DTE and because of the value of that property.
Right.
If we leverage a sinking fund against the value of that property, yes, we benefit from that very valuable property and levying, if we were 2.75 mils against that. That's a big amount of money that comes in. But we don't receive any additional funding because DTE is there. The value of DTE is when we leverage a millage against it and we collect the dollars. That's where it comes from. Prior to Proposal A, it was a different funding model. And yes, East China School District did benefit because those dollars stayed here. They now have a different funding model, and the dollars go to Lansing and get redistributed back to us. So that's just one thing. And if anyone ever has any questions or wants me to clarify, or Angie to clarify, Mrs. Gleason to clarify, we'd be happy to help people to understand.
On the web page there, if Sully will throw that back up again, there's an area where people can go in. Oh, that's it. Sinking Fund questions and answers, and that's right on your website.
Yes, it is. So that flyer that I talked about that has the blue stars and the orange dots, that's on our website. We have a tax calculator, so you can click on the button and see what the impact would be
punch my address in and that kind of thing?
Yep,
Okay.
and see what the impact would be for your home. And then on an FAQ document that's on our website, you just click on the question and it will provide an answer for you. And the one that I like to show is the one that's up there right now, and it shows the mills levied for districts around us. The blue is a non-sinking fund levy, and the orange is a sinking fund levy. And you'll see they all are operating with different levels of whether they're doing.
So the blues are probably bond issues.
Bond monies. And then the orange would be the reoccurring sinking fund.
So East China School District, that's pretty good in that chart there with overall debt. You're not as high as some of the other ones.
Exactly. And that's where, and I know this gets into the numbers a little bit, but that's where we benefit from having high property values. So we have the lowest levy in our area.
Wow.
For our homeowners, and if we added that sinking fund, the orange piece on it, we would be right in line about with the rest of the districts in our area.
Very good. Well, and it's coming up November 5th.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, you've been speaking at multiple places, and we'll take all sorts of questions. Did we miss anything?
Not that I can think of.
Safety and security. You talked about that.
Safety and security. Yep. That. Currently we're very proud. East China School District has 3 safety and security. We have a director and 2 specialists and an SRO that are on all of our secondary campuses and coordinate with our elementary campuses. So we have
SRO.
School resource officer.
Oh, thank you.
For Marine City.
Thank you.
So we have a SRO and 3 other folks that are in our buildings that are their whole role is to maintain safety and security. So that's the safety and security piece. All of our new cameras that we put in with bond work, we can upgrade and maintain those with a sinking fund. With the buses, we have a fleet of 30 buses, and we'll need to repair and maintain those. And then with technology, we're a one-to-one school district.
What's that mean?
All of our students have their own Chromebook.
Wonderful.
Yes. So at the elementary, they keep them in the classrooms. Once they hit 6th grade, we purchase them their own Chromebook that they get to take home and do their work with, and then when they graduate, they take it with them. But those have to be purchased every year, and those purchases would be sinking fund eligible. So the ability to provide that high level of instruction for our students, resource-wise, was important to us in our bond development, and it continues to be important to us.
One of the things that you've seen over the years and suffered from over the years is declining enrollment. Touch me on that.
So that was the impetus for the strategic planning process that led us to the bond. Was the district realized many years ago our declining enrollment was significant. So right now, and we have for the past 10 years, graduated about 100 more students than we have coming in kindergarten. It is a significant change.
Yeah, that is significant.
Yep. Significant change. And so what we needed to do, and what the strategic plan told us to do, is right size the square footage of our school district to the number of students that we knew we were going to have. We did 2 enrollment studies to make sure we were on track. We knew what we were headed for, and the enrollment studies have been right, almost spot on as to what our enrollment has been. And so we have sold 3 school buildings. My old middle school, Eddy Elementary, and Gearing. We're still occupying Gearing, but at the end of this school year, all of the Gearing staff and students will move over to Yankee, which is currently the St. Clair Middle School.
Right.
And that will become St. Clair River Elementary.
Okay.
So we'll maintain the 4 elementary buildings in our school district. We'll have Palms Elementary, Bell River, Pine River, and now St. Clair River Elementary. So we'll have all 4. And then we have a 6th through 12 campus at Marine City, which is our 6th grade through 12th grade. And we'll have a 6th through 12th grade campus in St. Clair starting next year, which will be 6th grade. So that's how we consolidated the square footage to meet our current enrollment.
And there's been a lot of building improvements at both Marine City and St. Clair high schools.
Yes.
New gymnasiums, new everything, you know.
Yes. So the bond, again, I feel very fortunate, blessed that we've been able to upgrade the facilities that we're going to keep to the top-notch condition. We have all new flooring, all new lighting, all new technology, all new furniture. We created some spaces to meet today's learning environments. Media centers look different, you know, libraries.
They're not called libraries anymore.
No, they're media centers, and they have cool seating and technology and neat things. And so our students are very fortunate that they learn in these environments.
All righty, November the 5th, people are starting to vote already absentee, so they can, where will they find the issue on the ballot?
It's on, you mean location-wise?
Yeah.
It's on the
back
back
side?
side.
On the back side?
Yep.
Okay.
And there is a brochure with a lot of information, including the stuff we talked about today, that should be hitting mailboxes at the end of this week or at the start of next week. So people want to wait, you know, and make sure they have all the information. That will be in every mailbox in our school district.
Well, it'll be upon us very quickly.
Yes.
And you've been having a yeoman's effort getting out and telling people about it, so I wish you luck. And
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in and telling us about it.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck to you and the district.
Thank you very much.
We're back with Deb Johnson in just a second. Well, welcome back. And we found down the hallway Deb Johnson.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
It's always good to see you.
It's been a long time. You were busy for the last couple months because you have a new title that we're going to be talking about.
Yes.
And you have another guest we're going to talk about.
Right.
And the title is Chairman of
the United
Way Fund.
Yep, for the United Way campaign for this year, yep. It is a pretty busy job.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And I already had a busy job.
No, really?
Yeah. Yes, so let's talk about that job.
Okay, let's talk about St. Clair County Community Mental Health.
Yep.
And let's talk about integrated health care. What is that?
So integrated health care is important because it's basically understanding that what impacts your mind mental health issues can impact your physical health.
Okay.
Physical issues can impact your mental health. And we also we thought it would be a good time to talk about it along with raising a little bit of awareness about Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
I should have wore pink today. There is a little pink in my shirt though. So it's important to, I'll talk about that in a minute, but integrated healthcare is, we've been doing that at Community Mental Health for years, like probably for sure at least 20 years, because we know that you can't just treat the head, you can't just treat the body, you need to treat the whole person. So what we hope, we try to do collaborative care agreements with, if you came to mental health for some treatment, because let's say you have clinical depression, and you also see a cardiologist. We want to make sure that we are communicating with your cardiologist.
Okay.
They know the medications that you're on with us, but you have to give us consent to do that. So you would give us consent. We'd do this coordination of care agreement with your other physicians that you see, and then we would all share information back and forth, because we know that any things that happen in the physical healthcare world can impact what happens at mental health. And for sure, if there's medications, we always need to know all the medications people are on to make sure that, you know, what we're doing is going to be the right thing. So
one's not going to
hurt the other.
Or
impact. But yeah. And then we also just want to talk about preventative health screenings, because that's so important for everything. And even with your mental health issues, I don't know if you want to call it preventative health screening, but there's a lot of different like quizzes you can take online, and if you check yes to more than a few things, maybe you should follow up with a mental health provider, it will say. If you're ever concerned about that, you can give us a call. Call our access at 888-225-4447, and maybe you do need to come in for treatment. And as you know, we've talked about in other episodes, that once we became what's called the Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinic, we can see people with private insurance and people with mild to moderate conditions, mental health conditions. So prior to that, people had to have very, very severe mental health conditions, Medicaid, and no insurance. That's about it.
One thing I've noticed going to my own personal physician and just recently I went to VA for an annual physical. They're all asking now, have you had any thoughts of suicide? Have you had any thoughts of hurting yourself? I mean, that's sort of new, isn't it?
Relatively.
In the last 4 or 5 years?
Except relatively speaking, or they'll say, "Are you depressed?"
Right.
So that can, I guess that could be a good segue into my story about when I had breast cancer, because we want to raise awareness about that this month. But one of the times I was at one of the providers, and a person stuck their head in. I was in the room getting like blood work, and there's another guy sitting in another chair getting blood work, and then they say to me, "Are you depressed?" And I said,
none of your business.
I go, "I don't know. Would you be depressed?" I said, "I'm bald. I just have a bloodshot eye now because a blood vessel had broke, and I had stitches in my finger, and it was all wrapped up, and I have breast cancer. I don't know." And then I go, and then I said, "I'm not clinically depressed, but that if I was, I wouldn't tell you right now."
Right.
And I said, "You need to ask that differently."
Right.
So part of the integrated healthcare movement is that we talk with physical healthcare providers on the best way to ask those questions.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't say, "Are you feeling suicidal?" You say,
Yeah, right.
how has everything been going? And you might say, "Well, I lost my job," and da da da. You start talking and you say other things, and then you'll get more information that way. And so so that's something we've done too, like with the collaborative care agreements. We've offered to do training for physical healthcare staff, etc. And so then we were talking about preventative health screenings.
Right.
Obviously, mammograms, self-breast exams, things like that are super important to help in the early detection of breast cancer, because early detection does save lives. We know that. And preventative screenings, I started to talk about, sorry, I jumped, because the other thing is, if you do little tests about maybe mental health things, if you catch even a mental health problem sooner, as opposed to when you're in super crisis,
Right.
your recovery is going to be a lot quicker, and
Right.
it's just better for you.
Right.
Same for physical health care. So you want to get your annual physicals, your blood work. There's a lot of ways that you can keep a good check on your physical health on a regular basis, and for sure mammograms and prostate cancer is a high one for men. Those kind of checks, and so it's just a good time to think about that.
October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And
Yes. And Down syndrome is a form of an intellectual or developmental disability. It's a chromosome abnormality, and it definitely affects a person's cognitive functioning, learning, or social abilities, and it is present at birth. And it also can impact people like severely or not that bad. So just like with a lot of things, people are not the same with that diagnosis. So just because you have Down syndrome, you're not all one way, just like
Right.
we're not all one way.
Right.
And so there are some people that are super high functioning and have maybe mild cognitive impairment, and then there are people on the far end of that spectrum that have much more severe cognitive impairment. And so during this month, we also want to try to raise awareness about all the successes of people with Down syndrome or other intellectual and developmental disabilities. And in fact, we are having a celebration of recovery, we're calling it, through our organization. And it's going to be October 17th, but there are people that will be receiving awards in all, people with intellectual developmental disabilities, people with mental illness, people who recover from substance use disorders, all those things, kids who've done well. So again, it's a time to raise awareness, educate people, and to celebrate people.
Okay. Bullying is also on the docket this month. Bullying Prevention Month. Talk to me about that.
That probably should be on the docket every month because unfortunately bullying has become more of an issue ever since all the social media, because now there's a thing called cyberbullying.
Yeah.
When we were kids and we went to school, if you got bullied at school, when you got home, you didn't have to be bullied anymore because nobody could get at you.
Right.
But with social media, you could be bullied 24/7.
Right.
And so it's just really important to raise awareness about that and to talk to your child too. If you think your child's being bullied, talk to them, listen to what they have to say. Or if you think your child's the bully, talk to them about that. Why are they doing that? There is a tendency for kids who have either been bullied, belittled, even maybe abused by family, by a parent or somebody. they will be bullies. Those are generally bullies, you know. And it's people with not a whole lot of confidence or self-esteem. So if they bully and they're mean,
I think that the low self-esteem and no confidence is a big factor.
I think so too. And so, talk, whether you think your child's being bullied or the bullier, you know, talk to them. And we do have a couple of trainings coming up. We have the social media addiction, and that's just talking about how online behavior affects your mental health, and that's really important because it definitely does have an impact. And so, and the younger kids are, and the more they're on it, the worse it is.
Yep.
And then there's the other one on the 15th is going to talk more about online risks, safeguarding your personal information, and cyberbullying that we talked about.
Where are those going to be held?
They're online.
Oh, they're
They're
online.
both online,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
And you can scan the QR codes to register. And they also, if you're a social worker and you need continuing ed credits, you will get those for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Now,
Oh, can I tell you one more thing about
you
bullying?
can tell me anything.
On October 16th, it's like National Bullying Prevention Day, or to raise awareness about that. So there's a lot of cool shirts they're selling online about inclusion and kindness and you know, stop bullying and we're, you know, all that kind of stuff. So everything's orange. So we're saying please wear orange.
Oh, okay.
If you could wear orange on October 16th as kind of the show of solidarity for
Or to support the Detroit Tigers.
or that too. So I did say, I don't think I have a lot of orange clothing, but I do have a Detroit Tiger shirt so that I got from I Ran the D one year. So, but I think I ordered a special one that says be kind, but it's about all those things. So, so yeah.
All right. Now, Mrs. Kelly's Journey Home. What the heck is that?
That is going to be amazing. It's going to be, it's a play at the Boardwalk Theater in St. Clair.
Right.
Friday, October 11th at 7:30.
So
Tickets.
it's Saturday. Oh,
Well,
Friday.
There's two.
I can't, right? Okay.
There's two. So Friday night, and if you want to go Friday night, and if you're watching this show in time to get a ticket, if you type in the discount code CARE, all caps, and 200. So CARE 200. I think it has to be all caps. I don't know. Try it both ways. But anyways, that's for Friday night, because you see on Saturday, if you're a caregiver, then you can get a special $20 coupon and you type in Mrs. Kelly Care 2024. That's
Okay.
Saturday only.
Okay.
But we can save you $10 on Friday night if you are watching and listening to the great Paul Dingaman show.
Is he here tonight too?
So yeah, that's going to be really good. And then afterwards, if you want on Friday night, if you pay the VIP extra $10, you will get pie and stuff afterwards and meet the actress.
Wow.
I'll be
So-
there at the pie part.
So what is this? What is this all about? What is she going to talk about?
She is going to share her story of her journey with her mother from the time she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's until she passes. And there's a lot of humor in it. There's a lot of probably educational components to it, and it's a very heartwarming story. And so that's what the story is about. And all proceeds from the event will support the Dementia Alzheimer's Association of St. Clair County.
Wonderful.
And it will be used to provide respite services.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Staying safe online. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, NAMI?
NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. We have a peer-to-peer training starting up. It will be Mondays at Community Mental Health from 1 to 3 o'clock. It's an 8-week session. It starts October 14th. For more information, people can contact Jeff Stoner at SCCCMH.org. It's J Stoner. Or call 810-278-1973. Or if that's all too much to remember, just call St. Clair County Community Mental Health and say, I want to be involved in that peer training, and they'll get transferred to the right person.
And the peer training is for people who are in social work.
No. The peer training is for people who have mental health conditions who are looking to better understand their situation.
Oh, their own situation.
Their own situation, and it's led by people who have what they call lived experience, meaning they have a mental health condition, but they're in recovery. But they understand what people are going through, and they will talk with them and give support.
That is wonderful.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right. Now, Halloween. I don't think you've done this before.
Yes, we have.
Have you?
Yep. It's been a while though, but we used to do it all the time actually, and then COVID happened, and we stopped, and then we kind of forgot to start it back up.
You got a trunk or treat. at 2 locations that we're aware of. Go ahead.
Yep, 3111 Electric Avenue is our the Port Huron location. We'll have a big trunk or treat there on Thursday, October 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. So if it's bad weather, we can actually pull it inside. We've had to do that in the past. So either way, come rain or shine, we will be doing that one for sure. Then the other one is going to be out at our King Road location.
Brand new location this
Yeah.
year for.
But it was there last year because they did
Was
it. Yeah, they did it last year. They actually, I think, give out cider and donuts. They have craft and some games and things like that. It's pretty fun. That's out on King Road, 5:30 to 7 on October 24th. And then actually, I should know the date and I don't remember, but the Marine City Chamber of Commerce is doing a trunk or treat down Main Street in Marine City. The street will be closed. We have our Broadway location in Marine City.
Right.
They are participating in that trunk or treat.
Okay, I have not heard about that one yet, but I'll look for it and we'll try and support it.
Okay.
All right. Then, if I need to get a hold of you, how do I get a hold of Deb Johnson and Community Mental Health?
Well, Deb Johnson, you just call our main number and ask for me, 810-985-8900. But if you need services or you think you do, please give us a call at 888-225-4447. But if you're in crisis, or if you think you're in crisis, or your friend might be in crisis, you can call 24/7, that crisis support line, which is 810-966-2575. And that is answered by our trained staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow. Wow.
And they can do a face-to-face visit if they need to. They can give you guidance over the phone. But don't hesitate to call, because sometimes people think, well, maybe it's not really an emergency. Maybe I should wait till tomorrow. Why guess? Just call and talk to them.
And there's no charge for it.
Nope.
So
it's free to
please
anybody.
do. And I think what you're pointing out is very important. I shouldn't make the decision. If I'm worried about something, call and find
Yeah.
out.
'Cause
Don't
if
be afraid.
Yeah, if they say,
Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, if they say you can wait till tomorrow, then and you feel comfortable, wait till tomorrow. But if you can't, then they can come see you and they can help connect you to whatever resources you might need.
Okay.
So yeah,
Deb Johnson, I think we covered it all.
I think we did.
You always do such a great job in all of your jobs.
Thank you. I
Thank
try.
you. See ya. I'll have you back soon. And very shortly, we're going to have you back, and you're going to bring a guest.
Yes.
That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingerman. See you soon.